Sam, quietly been going about your business, man. 2015's been a pretty fantastic year for you. A couple wins under your belt. What's it been like for you to finally get that winning streak together?
It feels great. That's what we've been focusing on. Is putting it all together has always been kind of my deal. Is what needed to happen. So, kind of feel like my skill set is caught up to my mindset, and now we're putting it together, and I feel like I'm the veteran now as opposed to being the guy that's like, fighting like I'm double parked, like I got to get this over with. And now I enjoy being in there. I feel like I train to be in that cage, and I like being in the cage. Is the difference between how I used to fight, where I got to end this quick, and to now where I'm just like, I love this. I love being in here and just focusing on competing. So I feel great about where I'm at now, like, my mind and the machine, man. So I feel good.
What was it like for you? Because, you had some inconsistencies in your UFC career, and I know it was never a work ethic thing or a commitment thing, that was never a question. So what was it like when you were knowing you were putting in the work but not necessarily getting the results you wanted?
Yeah, it sucks in the way that you train all the time, and it was like really a lack of competing. This moment's just so built up that you're just like, it all comes down to this. Where when I first turned pro, I fought 10, 11 times in 1 year. I fought 3 times in a month. And I was training, and you have something to build off of, to where now I got in there, I'm like, okay, I have to look more professional and this and that, and worried about the stuff besides just doing damage, So, and now that the veteran comes out in you a little bit, you've been in there before. I know when to flip that switch, when you feel get in the cage and you feel, the logos on the ground, you're like, okay, this is it. This is when it counts. Just kind of comes together, and it took that, a shitty start, I guess, the inconsistent start, because there was some good moments in there, but I guess it took it to get the mindset where it's at now.
Nice. Now the UFC's bringing you over to Korea. You're certainly no stranger to travel. I wonder, do you put your hand in the air and say, hey, man, send me around the globe. I like seeing the world. Or do you wish maybe you were having some fights a little closer to home? What's it like for you to have to deal with this?
The last fight was in San Diego, but obviously before that I was in Sweden. And, I like to mix it up. I don't like traveling all the time, but, I do like to mix it up, and do the international thing and kind of get to see these cultures and stuff. It's been I'm grateful for it, but also it is a business trip, So just stayed focused, and I know how to do it now. The only time it ever did anything to me was my first fight in Brazil, because I took it really personal when they chanted they wanted me to die. And, everybody I've never been a part of that. I've heard mixed boos with cheering before, but never just like, you're the bad guy. And now I know I'm coming to be the bad guy again, but I accept my role as opposed to taking it personal,
First event in Korea, so I don't think we know what to expect. I don't know what to expect from the crowd. Have you asked anybody, hey, are they going to be polite to me? Are they going to be boomy? Are they going to yell that I'm going to die? Have you tried to get any intel?
So far, just feeling it out. Everybody's, the culture is very polite, but I hope they kick back and have beer, sake, whatever they drink, and cheer. I don't care if they're loud for him or whatever, as long as they get up for the fighters. I don't like the quiet atmospheres, so, boo me or whatever, but I like it. Hopefully that stadium gets loud, so that's what I like, and that's what I want to be a part of.
Now not to start anything, but we just wrapped up media day. You're on the main card. Now, I will admit, I think we were the only English-speaking media there, so I'm guessing maybe that's why they just didn't even bother to have you there, but did you say, like, hey, this is a main card slot. Why am I not included in all these festivities?
All that stuff I try not to pay attention to, but even me, I wasn't even on the main card until fights fall through and everybody got shuffled around and stuff, and then they're like, oh, well, I guess you can be on it. I'm always that first fight on the main card or one fight away from getting the media BS, so I'm kind of used to that, and I know that once I get these wins behind me, then I have pretty much building myself a case to be like, dude, I got to be doing this shit. So, and Sean wants to see this matchup so bad that he's booked it this many times. So I'm like, damn it, I'll go down there to do it, to make this happen, because obviously it's been canceled twice up there. So, I try not to invest too much into that stuff, but obviously, even if you have a phone, you're gonna see like the odds and all that bullshit come up, So, which still, I don't know how I'm an underdog to a guy that's beat up his local circuit and a chump, and all this stuff, but obviously they're pumping out their Koreans down here because it's in Korea, and another thing I'm used to by traveling. So go pump up your guy. When I shut him off, the stadium's gonna be quiet, and then I'll go collect my check and go home. So I've played that role too, and I know and that's the best feeling. As so much as the cheering is when you see 15,000 people dead quiet and worried about their guy. So that's why I'm here, for that silence.
Talk about the matchup itself. What are you expecting when you look at it? I mean, as you said, it's been tried to put together. What do you think it is about your styles and how they come together?
I see an athlete that was taught how to punch. He's athletic. That's what we're dealing with. He'll come in shape, and he's athletic. To where I'm more geared towards a fight and a fighter. I've been hit. I've hit people. I bet he's never punched anybody outside of the octagon, like for a real fight. So which good for as a human or whatever. But that's what I bring to the table, is I'm the fighter. So he's athletic, and that's what we're training for, an athlete. And I'm looking to do damage and shut him off. And then afterwards, I hope he gets everything he's ever wanted and we walk away. But like that day, he's my enemy. That just everything. I don't do the tap gloves and bow to mats bullshit. It's on. And then after that, we're done. So
this would be a 3-0 year for you. It'd be pretty fantastic. Have you started thinking about next year and the goals and kind of what you see ahead for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that has really helped me, I set goals now and really focus on how I'm going to achieve them. I wanted to be, this year I wrote down I want to be 3-0. I wanted 3 finishes. I didn't get a finish my last fight. I wanted a submission. I didn't get it. I chased it, in Guillotine Fest there in July, but I didn't get it, and so I reassessed my goals, and I still want to be 3-0, and I want this to be a finish, and that's how I trained. Next year, my goal is to headline a show, and like I say, I'm building myself a case. To be undefeated 2015 is a pretty good case, and then I imagine they'll have me fight somebody else, or more. I don't want to say like name and stuff, but like somebody with I fight these young, hungry guys that are coming in making a name for themselves. It will give me somebody a big fight. I want big fights, that's why everybody does it. So I expect big fights, but I want to headline, a show next year. By the end of next year, if I shut off enough people, I hope I get it. So.